Hi, thanks for watching this video on your new landscape database. Uh, First of all, I want to thank you for giving this a try or purchasing it. It's my goal that this video will show you how easy it is to work within PlanSwift with a database and with Microsoft Access and Excel to be able to change and update and modify the database you just got to better fit your company. First of all, probably the most, uh, or at least the best place to start would be the templates. The neat thing about the templates that you have, you can use the database plugin alongside with the non-database plugin. And what that means for you experienced database users that's worked with Sage and ProEst and OnCenter, sometimes you're restricted to what's in the database. And every time you come across a new item that you want to take off, you can just, you have to go back into the database, add it in, create a formula, find that database, create parts for that, just all kinds of just hassles just to add one thing. And some of them have you can add a one-time item and add it into your database later. But the cool part about this is you can use the landscape database uh, alongside the non-landscape plugin. So if I wanted to use topsoil, I'm not tied into what type of topsoil, production rates and equipment rates and what equipment and things like that. I can add that in, and it'll work well within the reports and the estimate. Or I can stick with the landscape database, through the plugin. And again, it just makes it really simple to work side by side, database and non-database. So hopefully, if your experience with database, that'll probably, you know, set off a few flares and make you really happy. You're probably dancing behind the table right now. I don't know. Uh, let's look at the actual database that the information you got is actually. Let me close that out. We don't want that. We want to open up my file explorer, and where we're storing that data file is in the program in your C computer file or disk, program files. Under PlanSwift 9, you'll see the LCP database. And what that comes with is all of these Access databases and some Excel spreadsheets. The Excel spreadsheets are what I use to import the data into Access. So if I went to my drainage and open that up, you can see that there's this, 4 pages, and these each worked out to be a table within PlanSwift, or excuse me, Access, and later a table within PlanSwift. But you can go ahead if you choose to, if you want to make a bunch of adds, you can add more names through Access here, listing all your names for your catch basins, cost, and materials, or you can adjust them. And then you can re-import into Access and overwrite the files that are already there. So you're not stuck with what I have, and you can more than welcome to use what I have. But these files then get imported into Access here. Okay, and it's a real simple process of going through the Access, the import external data and finding that particular link that we just talked about. Okay, and then finding those spreadsheets. Okay, and then once you have those linked up, it'll import them into your Access. Okay, now all these files within Access are linked to PlanSwift, and so anytime you make a change here in the Access database, for example, if I want to add a 9-inch, I know they don't make 9-inch drain pipe, I can add it here, and excuse me, and we'll give it a price of 7.77, and we can put 55 feet in the ground an hour. Okay, once I hit the save button, it's already been put, now it's in PlanSwift. So if I open PlanSwift, this link is live, and I go to my list here. I go drainage, pipe, there's my 9-inch drain pipe right there. So when I go to use it, if I'm going to provide, we don't have some drainage plans up, but we'll just go ahead and use our database. We'll go to drainage, drain pipe. Okay, when I click on that, you can see all the pipe that was in that Excel data spreadsheet is there. Also in that list, here's my 9-inch drain pipe. I just click on it, And I'm going to go ahead and select a piece of equipment to put that in with. And let's choose, well, we'll leave it sand and 40 horsepower to build that up. So now when I put in drain line, okay, it's calculating all the above, but it's using the prices that came from the Excel spreadsheet, or excuse me, Access database and from your PlanSwift links. Okay, let's look at it real quick and then we'll kind of backtrack. I might have lost a couple of you on that one. So we have 258 feet of that drain pipe. Okay, and there's our price of 777. And again, for some of you guys who are new to this, we can go into job properties and change our labor rate at any time and our markup and sales tax and equipment markup, things like that, and it'll change the price right here in your estimate as you go. Okay, so let's back up now. These lists have been imported into PlanSwift. Um, each one of these lists has a table in them, and all these tables have prices. Okay, and these prices can be changed either here in the list in the table right here. If you get a price for a Toro 250 valve and the material cost is now $20.50, you can change it here. Now when you change it in the list, it'll change it for any future time you use it on a project, but it will not change it in Access. Okay, these are good for one times. And you can also add one time here. If you click that green button, it's going to allow you to add into, and I'm going to call it the Todd 500, and this will be a 2-inch valve, and the material costs are going to be 55, and production rate will be 1. So what we did is we added a one-time valve. So if we were to go across and we were doing a takeoff and our legend had a valve that wasn't in our database, we could certainly go back into Access and drop it in, or you could go to that remote control valve and just add it like I did that one time, choose it, and now all the prices that I've put in there have been selected. Okay, and we're going to look at that. I'm going to choose a valve box real quick and what type assembly. And these are all part of the databases, so these all have prices and production rates assigned to them. Okay, we'll go ahead and count one of those. And if we go to our estimating window, we see what that looks like. That's the Todd 500. Okay, here's our cost for that valve of $55, and we had a labor production rate of 1 per hour, and let me see if I didn't choose. If you don't choose a valve box, it will throw a 0 on you, which is a good way of telling that you missed an input. Anyways, okay, so you have the labor rates and everything, and these all add up to a unit cost price as well as a price each for these items. Okay, so you're probably wondering, well, how in the world do I make changes on this? Well, you can really easily. You can make changes here. If you want to change that price of that valve, you can change it right here to $77, and that'll change it in your valve right there. If you want to change the production rate, you can change production rates. There's really not much you cannot do within this plugin with the database versus like a real structured one. This is we'll look at the actual structure of this too. When we set these up, this database has been set up through PlanSwift through a series of links, and it's a real simple process. PlanSwift has done a good job. But when you have 200 or 300 takeoff items, it can take you 50, 60 hours to do this. So the work's already done. You don't have to do it again. But what was happening is I went in and, we went in and found the list that we wanted to link to, and the name and the size of the ones that are going to be visible when you actually see the drop down. But when you choose that name or that size, it's also going to give you the valve production rate and the material costs, and they'll set those properties down here. So when you select that, it not only selects the name and the size, but those prices were part of that. Okay, and same thing with the unions or your assemblies. You have all these assemblies. Well, it's not only selecting the size and the type, but it's putting uh, the cost of that particular valve down there. And where do we get those costs? Well, again, those come from our lists, and we can go to let's go remote control valves right here, like valve assembly. Sorry, I stuttered there. So you have all these options. Okay, so there's, to recap this video, you're going to get basically a lot of information that's established. You can make changes either in Access or in Excel and then re-import into Access. When you make a change into Access, the database changes. Once you hit save, it'll change it in your list. And these lists, I would imagine there's probably, I don't know, 50 of them, have all the prices, and all these prices are linked to the actual takeoff item. So if we're going to take off a backflow, these prices will be there when we select that backflow. And that size, it'll select the dollar amount and the production rate. And when we set the backflow enclosure, that we select that one, that dollar amount production rate goes in there, and the backflow assemblies, same thing. So you're ending up with a standardized way of estimating and controlling your bid costs as you go. These prices too, if you got sent out for a bid, let's say in the reports you had your you sent out for an irrigation quote, you can go back in and you can change these prices right here too. Let's say you got a price for your remote control valve, the Todd 2-inch Todd. You can just change that to whatever you want, and it'll change it in the estimate as well. And you got a price for these valve boxes at $9.85. Okay, so when you go back to your estimate, those prices are there. There's your $9.85, and there's your $56.55 for the Todd 200 or 500. All right. Well, I hope that this helps. If you do have questions, you can always give us a call here at 541-415-2605. Have a great day.